All right, media, it's finally time to learn about reality TV. Reality TV is much different than the scripted genres of sitcoms and drama that we've been studying so far. It's difficult to define because there are so many different types and subgenres of reality TV. So today I'll try to set up some of the patterns that we can recognize in reality TV as we move forward to studying these different genres. The first reality TV show was called Candid Camera, and it was a hidden camera show that caught people's reactions to humorous situations. We still see similar shows like Impractical Jokers, America's Funniest Home Videos, and we've branched off into talk shows, game shows, late night shows, and slice of life reality TV. When considering reality TV, some people are supporters of reality TV while others are opponents. A supporter of a reality TV show might say, this show is giving this person a platform. Think about the people who enter America's Got Talent or American Idol or any of these talent seeking shows. Well, they could end up with a record deal or prize money. What a great opportunity for this person to get their name out in ways that they probably couldn't without that reality TV show. Opponents of reality TV say that people on reality TV are embarrassing themselves. They're potentially put in emotionally or physically dangerous situations, and that can't be good for that person. In relation to reality TV, I want to teach you the German word Schadenfreude, which is one of my favorite words. And we don't have this word in English, but the definition you can see on the screen is when we gain pleasure from someone else's misfortune. Now, this sounds very mean spirited, but admit, when you see someone trip up the stairs, you might go to help them, but you chuckle a little first, don't you? Well, I think that reality TV is strongly based on Schadenfreude. We like to see other people's misfortunes. When someone mixes flour into their batter on Great British Baking Show and gets flour in their face, I giggle a little bit. When someone in Wipeout falls off of the course, I laugh a little bit. When my least favorite contestant on The Bachelor or Bachelorette gets kicked off, I feel a great sense of pleasure knowing that that person is finally gone. So I could play even 4 or 5 seconds of this wipeout video, and you could see people getting knocked down and how humorous that can be to us. I encourage you, if you're ever having a bad day, just head to YouTube and watch a little bit of wipeout fails to make your day a bit better. Reality TV is very hard to define, but the definition is really any type of program that ignores actors in favor of real people. So this is an unscripted show. There are many different types of reality. The first type that we'll watch in class is called slice of life. And these are just the shows that follow people around in their everyday lives. So I'll ask you to watch an episode of Duck Dynasty, but another example would be Keeping Up with the Kardashians, Dance Moms. These are all slice of life shows. We're just following this person around in their everyday life. We see them at work, we see them in their personal life. We're just getting a taste for their life. Game shows are much different, where we have contestants who are trying to win a prize. Game shows always have rules. They usually have a very strategic set that's sometimes part of the game. You could consider a set like Jeopardy or Wheel of Fortune that set takes place or is a big part of the game. Contest and elimination shows, that's where we start off the season with perhaps 20 or 25 contestants, and each week we're whittling down one by one. So these would be shows like Bachelor or Bachelorette, Survivor, Amazing Race, Alone. These are all contest elimination shows, and they're usually skill based, where we're whittling down the crowd. Educational shows might be a show like a cooking show or a show that teaches us how to fix an aspect of a vehicle or fix something in our home. And then finally, a talk show could be late night or daytime. If you think of a daytime talk show like Ellen, it has a host and a set and an audience, and guests come on. Similarly, with a late night talk show, we have a host who has guests that come on the show. So we have all these different genres of reality TV. These are all real people who are contestants or guests on the show. They do not have scripts to work from. They're just saying what comes to their mind. In terms of time slot, reality shows can be half an hour long, a show like Pawn Stars or Storage Wars. It could be an hour long, like The Bachelor or Bachelorette. And sometimes those season finales get to be 3 slots, 90 minutes. And I've even seen where they do 4 slots and it's a 2-hour finale or a 2-hour premiere. Producers and editors sort through hours of content to condense it into that teeny tiny 30 to 60-minute episode. If you consider the show Pawn Stars, which is about a family in Las Vegas who owns a pawn shop, just to get that 30 or 20-minute episode, they might shoot a whole week of material, and then they take and cut out what they don't think will be entertaining to an audience and just focus on that 20 to 30 minutes that will be entertaining. Even though a reality show follows people's lives, like slice of life, or maybe even has rules like a game show or contestants or guests, the rules of storytelling still apply. So think back to sitcoms. There was a beginning, a middle, and an end, similarly with drama. And in reality, even in a slice of life show, you'll still probably see a beginning, a middle, and an end, because we as an audience like to see those storytelling elements. A couple other reality story elements that you might see in multiple genres. The personalities. We usually have a host or a narrator. I like to watch episodes of House Hunters, and there's always a notable narrator in the background. The host might introduce themselves at the beginning of the show, or if it's a late night show, it's often named after the host, like Late Night with Jimmy Fallon, or Ellen is just the name of the host, right? We have contestants and subjects. These are the people who are volunteering to be on the show. Perhaps they're competing for a prize, or maybe they're just competing for true love or to be the best singer or the best dancer, whatever it is. Our settings, generally, there's a set that's built for shows like late night shows and game shows, but there's also a lot of on-location shooting. If you consider shows like Survivor or Alone, well, of course, we're in a remote location and everything is filmed there. There's no set that's built for that. Many reality shows have confessionals. This is where we have one person who's in the show, a contestant or a subject, and they're just talking directly to the camera. Often the contestant's name will be across the bottom of the screen. Perhaps their occupation or their age will also show up. And they're just telling what their day was like, or what their reaction was to a certain situation, or how they reacted to another person on the show. That's a confessional. And then finally, even though reality shows are mostly unscripted, they do still have catchphrases. Maybe you've seen some of these catchphrases before. Many of them are in relation to the title of the show. There's a show called Nailed It on Netflix, and that's one of their go-to catchphrases. You've been chopped, of course, is what they say when they cut someone from an episode of the cooking show Chopped. Will you accept this rose is a popular catchphrase popularized by The Bachelor and Bachelorette. And see if you can remember You're Fired. It's been a while since that's been on the air, I believe, but that was from The Apprentice, right? Donald Trump made that line very famous. Reality shows of our 3 genres are by far the cheapest to produce. Think about it. Of course, for personalities, you need to hire a host and pay that person. I can only imagine how much money Chris Harrison has made over however many seasons of The Bachelor or Bachelorette. But our contestants and subjects, they will just sign up willingly to be on this show at a chance for the prize money, at a chance for fame, and they don't need to be paid at all. So we could consider an episode or a season of a show where we have contestants like The Voice. They will just volunteer, right? We don't need to pay that person to be on the show. They may win prize money, but many people volunteer. A friend of mine actually volunteered to be on Family Feud, and she and her family auditioned, and she was so upset that they didn't make it at the final cut. They chose another family, but many people will volunteer willingly without being paid to be on these shows. Settings are very inexpensive. For shows that do have sets, like late night talk shows or game shows, once they build the set, they really don't need to build another set. They can just continue to use that same set. And of course, if we're shooting on location, well, the location is already built, whether we're in a city or in a restaurant. Consider an episode of Impractical Jokers. They're going around to different locations. All of that is shot on set. We don't need to hire any writers because reality TV is meant to be unscripted. We not only have extended commercials where we can fit in more products, we also have more opportunities for product placement. So reality shows have become very popular places for companies to place their food product, their beverage, their clothing. In Duck Dynasty, you may notice that unless they're wearing their Duck Hunter commander, whatever their personal brand is, they're wearing Under Armour, and you can see the logo on their hats or on their jackets. Often weight loss shows will make partnerships with companies like Subway or maybe Adidas or Nike. Those would all be good partnerships for them to make. Many seasons of America's Next Top Model had a partnership with CoverGirl Cosmetics, and they mentioned that name several times in the episode, and we saw them do photo shoots and use these products. The show American Idol really popularized the use of beverages for product placement. Here you can see we've got the original Coca-Cola cups in front of them. I believe on different seasons of The Voice, they've had Dunkin' Donuts or Starbucks to represent that beverage. And a really great show I wish would come back was Extreme Home Makeover. This is Ty Pennington. And in every episode, they would go to Sears. They would get all of the appliances from Sears. They would say, let's go to Sears and pick up some new bedding or some new towels for this house. So they would pick out everything that they need. So overall, reality is really hard to define because it's so diverse. There are so many different types of reality shows, whether we're considering game shows, talk shows, contests, or slice of life shows. But there are some characteristics that make them similar. They're unscripted and they favor real people over actors. They often have these popular products that are placed into the show, and they have partnerships with these companies. And though they may have different sets, whether they're on set or on location, they still have a similar budget in terms of people volunteering to be on the show. So consider what's different from our sitcoms and dramas and what might be similar in terms of storytelling elements as we watch reality.